Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, friends. Good evening, Mr. Sendil, and good evening, our past president, Mr. Anand Padmanabhan, and everyone who is on the forum today. Welcome to another Monday Musing session, which is a very important session today, what we are having. Obviously, it's been running for 450 plus weeks, thanks to the efforts put in by the Secretariat and the Office Bearers and Managing Committee, who has been instrumental in sustaining the Monday Musings program, a knowledge sharing platform of CMA, which is known very widely across the country. In fact, under the AIMA, I think Coimbatore Management Association, despite being one of the founding members and one of the longest serving associations, local management associations, these Monday Musings have been a very well appreciated program by other local management associations as well, and of course at AIMA level also. This knowledge sharing sessions brings together industrialists, academicians, students and professionals, practitioners of management, everybody together, and creates a platform for exchange of ideas. In this yet another initiative, we have today a very knowledge and experienced speaker, Mr. Sendil. Mr. Sendil is basically, it was a pleasant surprise to know the reverse migration. Mostly people move from Cosmo to Metro. I think Coimbatore has been welcoming to Mr. Sendil, which attracted him to move from Metro to Cosmo. From Chennai, he's moved to Coimbatore and made his home at Coimbatore, I would say. He is basically a graduate and a product of Madras University and an HR professional, having worked for Cognizant and served a long time in Capgemini, post which he has taken an position in Palamudir Nilayam, which is a pleasant surprise to me, despite being a Coimbaturian and having been part and parcel of the growth story of Palamudir Nilayam. Not many of us know that Palamudir Nilayam also has an IT wing. So, Ms. Sendil, it was a pleasant, again, surprise to know Kovai Palamudir Nilayam's this initiative. And I'm sure under your leadership, this is expected to grow further manifold times, and wish you the very best. And I'm sure the takeaways in today's meeting will be great, especially for the young professionals and the budding professionals. And presence of Mr. Anand Padmanabhan, another IT wizard, definitely going to add value to the session. Thanks again for accepting to be part of Coimbatore Management Association's Monday Musings. And to just put it in perspective, Coimbatore Management is the only association which represents all the spectrum of industries, academicians, technologists, management practitioners, professionals, and the academic community, apart from student community, coming together. Because we are a knowledge-centric association where we imbibe the management education through both practicing professionals and the budding professionals. All the other associations, Coimbatore Association is unique in such a way that we don't represent any interest of specific industry or in policy interventions of the government. That is one of the primary objectives of the many industry-centric associations. Whereas ours is a knowledge-centric association, wherein the decimation of knowledge and practices, good practices, is the primary objective of Coimbatore Management Association. I'm sure this session is also going to do justice to this initiative. And now the forum is open to you, Ms. Sendil. Please, waiting to hear from you.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin, and thank you to CMA as well, Coimbatore. Thank you for Anand Padmanabhan sir to join in today, and rest of your friends out here who have joined in. I'm deeply honored to be addressing you on this Monday evening. So you call it Monday Musing. We always have Monday morning blues, whether it is whether we do our own business or whether we work for an organization. But pleasantly, I'm much more relaxed nowadays. And that kind of relates to my topic today on the AI side, because I think most of you would have heard about artificial intelligence taking over. And there are many tools, many aspects, or many things that in the news that you're hearing day in and day out. Few people are scared, few people are confused, Few people are saying whether I will lose my job or whether I'll be replaced by robots. It's like looking at a nice Hollywood movie is what I would say. But most people do not understand what happens on the AI side. And today's session is going to be totally focused on understanding what is AI and how you can leverage as a professional to help you rather than having the thought of being replaced or taken away of your job. All those misconceptions can be cleared today. I'm very open to have a good interaction with you as well on this topic. So I would like to share my screen for a few slides. I'm not really a slide person, but I have few slides which I wanted to quickly take you through. So as you can see, the topic today is embracing the power of AI. So we are going to understand what potential it has for us. As Dr. Nitin mentioned about, there are various industries that CMA support here, right? And there are AI tools which are used for various industries. People have this concept that AI is only related to robotics or anything to do with that angle, but not many people know how these tools can really help us to be more efficient, help us to be more accurate and more faster. So we are just going to get the work done much faster than what we used to do before. And that's the reason today on a Monday, I'm able to sit and talk with you peacefully, right? So moving on, I hope all of you have your mobile phones. If you have joined through a mobile phone, I just want you to do a quick survey for me, all right? I would be happy if you can go to this site called as menti.com. It's called menti.com. And as soon as you log into menti.com, you would be asked to input a particular code which you're seeing on the screen. So would you be able to do this for me so that just let me know if you have any kind of issues with logging into this, right? So once you log in, what you got to do is you've been asked a question. Okay, first, to set the entire context for the session, this question is very critical. How open are you as an individual or a practitioner or an industry specialist, or you could be working on your own business, or you could be in your you can be working in an IT or any other industries for that matter. How open are you to embrace the power of AI tools in your work processes? I hope everybody is logged in. I have already got 4 responses. Just try
can I voice opinion, Mr.
Sure. Please, sir. Please.
Okay, let's. Okay, as a professional and as a individual, as long as it adds value to human efforts, it's welcome. But not as a substitute for not as a substitute for human efforts. As long as it's complementary, it is more than welcome.
Yeah, excellent, sir. So I think probably we can either place you in the first bar or the second bar, somewhere in between. Great. So I have got about 5 responses. We can make this quick. We have about 26 people here, and everybody can log in if you're having some issues. But yeah, we're getting some responses. We'll just give it a minute. Yeah, somebody has said somewhat open, but with reservations or concerns. I think very open and excited to explore AI tools. Excellent. Okay. All right. So let's I think most of us, whoever have logged in so far, at least have not been able to go onto the other side of the spectrum where they're not open or reluctant. I can see that most of you are wanting to use this tool or use or explore AI, right? So with that, let me close the survey. Let me get back to the slides. So another thing, how this whole session is going to go is we are going to talk about certain AI tools that we or I have been using for the last few months, or I would rather say about 6 months or so, and how it has positively impacted in my work situation. Like rightly Mr. Dr. Nitin pointed out, that it does not substitute you, but it just assists you, how it was able to assist us as an organization. And then I'm going to quickly show you a demo of a couple of tools, which you can see on the screen what it happens. Hopefully my internet is good for that. All right. So is there any other opinion or suggestions on this? Because we just had about 8 responses. Is there anything anyone wants to say at this point in time? Okay. Right. So what are AI tools? Everybody knows AI stands for artificial intelligence. So it uses machine learning algorithms and data analytics. So all this while we have been feeding computer on what we wanted it to do, right? When we started way back in the 90s, the computers on the 0 binary codes, we feed them with what actions that we wanted the computer to perform. But what AI is doing is, it is not only making the computer to perform efficiently, but also think, right? So it does not give, it gives you a response. It also analyzes what response was previously given for a similar type of an issue and provides you with the best solution that could be taken into your validation process. So this is what AI has been able to do, right? So what are the few examples? Today, any website that you log in, it could be any e-commerce site or any general websites, automatically there's a chatbot popping up to you, a virtual assistant popping up to you, and it kinds of senses, welcomes you, and it asks you certain questions, whether I need to help you, and based on your responses, it properly guides you into the site, right? How many of you have seen virtual chatbots in any of the websites that you've opened up? You can raise your hands on using the hand icon. I hope most of you would have seen it, right? So how those things work? So these are programmed on the NLP side, or ML, we call it the machine learning optics. So that's a little deeper, but these are here to help you to make your experience, whether it's a shopping website or whether it's a generic website, more productive, right? So other than that, we also have predictive tools where AI has played a real role, where earlier we used to work with a bunch of Excel sheets. We still work with a bunch of Excel sheets. We try to break our head with respect to data analysis or predictive analysis. This is one area where AI has been able to help us, or help making the businesses to take the right decision, not influence, but making the businesses to take right decisions as well. So what is the benefits? In general, all of you know, I've been talking about the benefits only all this long. It has an increased efficiency, it improved accuracy, as you can see, cost savings, enhanced decision-making capabilities, and personalized user experience. What I haven't put here is what are the downfall to it, right? Anybody can say what could be the downfall? I haven't put it here, but anybody can voice out what could be the downfall on this using the AI tools? Anybody?
What sure is that people will lose their imaginative skills, and the touch of uniqueness that every individual has.
Okay. So what if I put a question back to you, ma'am, and ask you that, what if it enhances your creativity and enhances your way that you work?
If it does enhance by utilizing what is inside of me, yes, that would be great.
Absolutely. So how many of you have heard a term called as prompt engineering? Has anyone heard the term called as prompt engineering?
I have been using this for my work now.
The prompt, sir?
Yes, prompt engineering. I use Bard, I use ChatGPT.
Yes.
So I have used it very effectively for writing some articles, writing some chapters for my book and all that.
Absolutely. So prompt engineering is going to become the biggest actionable in the next few years, because when AI steps in, like rightly what Ananta Padmanabhan sir pointed out, he uses this for his articles, but it is also very important what kind of prompts are we giving it to the system, right? So that itself is going to become more and more looked up as a job or as even a skill that a person need to possess. This is bound to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, where somebody comes and says, I know how to exactly write a prompt to get the right output from an AI model system. Today, we are writing it what we want it to be, but there will be days where this will be taught to us on how you need to train the system or how you need to make decisions in the system. This is nothing different from what we used to do before. What we used to do before, when we started with the computers, we still gave instructions, right? But here, probably the instructions are coming back to us and saying, why can't you? It's getting into a, not into a dialogue, not like a monologue mode, but it's going to become more of a dialogue mode. And that's what AI will bring to the table, right? Any questions on this, sir? Anybody in the room? Okay. And another downfall that people tend to see is that it replaces my job. Today, I have a content writer sitting in my office, and I was talking to a client, and they were asking us to prepare, do a copywriting on few of their FAQs and a few of their release notes that they're planning for a product. So I said, we have a content writer and we can help you. They just put me a quick question saying that you don't need a content writer, a chat GPT can do for you, right? So this time, the position of a content writer is challenged, whether he or she needs to be there. But what people fail to understand is not to take a decision whether I have to exist or not exist, but how can I use ChatGPT or how I can use the other AI content preparation tools to enhance my way of presentation, my way of presenting the document or way of presenting the release notes, what the client wanted. But immediately what people think is, okay, am I going to get replaced? And this is something which is not happening in India as yet. We still need hands and legs to work for us, but it is happening elsewhere in the US and other parts of Europe, where people are fearing AI, right? So next, I just wanted to give a quick case study, what AI tools can do possibly in e-commerce sites. This has already been implemented in many e-commerce sites. I'm not sure, have you ever worked with these things? I definitely would have worked with chatbots and virtual assistants, but personalized product recommendations are coming in a very heavy way nowadays. So when you choose a product on an e-com platform, and next time when you log in or in the same session, it is able to suggest you a lot more based on your purchasing pattern. That is something which has been embedded in the current e-commerce sites. How many of you have observed that? So just take a close look. When you go next time, make sure that whether you're on Amazon, whether you're on eBay, whether you're on any e-commerce sites, just observe the way this whole product recommendation work. In fact, for our own app, that's KPN Coimbatore mobile app, we are trying to build this capability. We are trying to analyze how a customer is able to choose his products, or the history behind choosing his products, the purchase methods, and how do we recommend him what he likes, right? So this is happening as we speak today. And the last one, visual search. So visual search, there is a technology that we're working currently, which is still not off the shelf here. Many of you would have traveled abroad. to have your personal check-ins, right? You don't have a billing person to work with. You can do your personal checkouts, and you don't need someone to stand there, build the product for you and give it. So you can build it on your own. But today, there is a technology that is coming up on a visual search. So when I take an apple, when I take an orange, I'm able to scan it, and the AI is modeled to understand what type of orange or what type of apple I've picked it, and it will build it accordingly based on the image. Again, you got to train the system, but this is something for the future, where we are currently having it tested with one of our partners, where a person is able to show a product and there is a visual search that happens based on the product that has been shown. So these are few things that are already happening. It is not something that's going to come up. It is already happening, and we are only expecting more such to come through in the coming months and coming years. This is only focused is to help the user as much as possible to enhance their experiences, whichever place that they are in. It could be today e-commerce sites, tomorrow it could be on a healthcare system, it could be on some other websites which needs your attention, insurance pages. So everywhere, all of these widgets or these processes will be implemented, and we are not very far away from all of these things. So moving on to the next slide. This slide I like because I've just given you a little bit of tools that we use and what we use for our work. Okay, predominantly I work with HR, I work with marketing, I work from the business side as well. And few of the development folks also work for us, being a software company. Everybody knows about ChatGPT and Bard. I don't need to talk about that. But how many of you know about Photoshop Firefly? Right? For graphic designers, this is a boon, because what they have to think through, they're able to do a prompt on Photoshop Firefly, and they're able to get the desired images. It is not you or me who are not a graphic designer, who is not a creative person, will not be able to work with Photoshop Firefly. But a person who is in that designation, which is a graphic designer, who is in that space where he's able to understand the creative aspects of illustration or art, is able to use Firefly to a more great use. Today or earlier, when we used to have to get a graphic image done for a particular client, my DM teams, as a digital marketing team, comes up to me, says, sir, I need to take a brief from the client. From the days from the brief, it takes about at least for me 3 to 4 days to come up with a proper design with multiple iterations. But today, we are able to generate these designs in a day. When we get the proper requirements from the client, we're able to generate it in a day, where it used to take us 3 to 4 days. But once we generate it, we just don't use it. That's where I'm coming back to Vidya ma'am's point. We just don't take and dump that output to the end client, but we take that as a base and we add more aesthetics to it and we move it forward. So where we used to start at 0, we are starting probably at 25, 30 and moving forward, and which has only reduced our time and our responsiveness to the client. Similarly, for resume screening and candidate matching, I haven't used one yet. I just saw one demo and it is mind-blowing. Based on your research, based on whatever you have in your resume, based on your prior experiences, the AI is able to suggest you on what could be the possible job opportunities that you would like to set in, and it also points you to those kinds of opportunities, right? Similarly, the last two things, the website building and code optimization, I'll come to that. Website building has never been that easy nowadays, because earlier we used to sit down, take a theme from any of the outsourced teams, purchase it, develop it, and then customize it to the client need. But I have one particular site that I wish to show you today, where you can generate your website in a matter of 5 minutes. But again, you can customize it to your needs as well. So this is where I say, it doesn't mean that, okay, no more work for the web developers. I never said that. There is an enhancement that web developers are getting now. Based on their input that they are feeding into it, they're able to get half the process done by AI. And from there, they take it forward for the customization, which again results in a quicker turnaround to the client. And the code optimization. How many of you are aware in this room on GitHub? How many of you are aware of GitHub? Yeah, GitHub. So how many of you use GitHub Copilot? Okay. Does anyone use GitHub Copilot? You can just unmute and say yes, no, because I'm not able to see the complete screen because of my presentation share. Yes, no. Anybody has used GitHub Copilot? Does anyone know what is GitHub Copilot? Okay. So GitHub, just to give you a brief introduction, it's the coding repository, right? Any company, any organizations, any software companies would like to store their code in a structured way. And nowadays, every individual have their own GitHub license where they structurally put the code through whatever they're working on. This Copilot is a very interesting person. What happens is once you install that, it is as much as possible, it guides you. It's not like Grammarly, or it's not like this prompting, like when you type like 4 letters of the word, the rest of the word comes. It's not that way. When you write a particular function or to execute a particular program, Copilot helps you with choosing the right coding, right kind of function, what you need to use for that particular situation based on your prior codes, prior what you have written. It gives you suggestion. It's totally up to you whether you want to take it or not take it. So earlier, when we have, just let me give you an example. Everybody would understand a basic login page in a web development, right? A sign in, sign up page. If I ask my developer to code it from the scratch, he will take at least 3 to 4 hours to do that. That's a fact. People can say, no, we will do it quickly. We will take some other, we clone it and things. They will take some time. But today, using Copilot, the same person is able to deliver that page within an hour. So where he's able to get all the responses, all the help that he needs from the Copilot, it is up to him whether he wants to use it or not use it. So with this, let me come to this particular product database. This is something which I saw on Twitter. Twitter is actually a very, very good platform if used nicely, right? So we always see the hatred stuff happening in Twitter, but Twitter, there is nothing greater than signing into a Twitter, following the right accounts, and getting to know more about what is happening in the technology space. And that is where I keep myself updated. I'm about 40 years old, 41 years old. I may be called a little bit of a premature dinosaur, but still I try to keep in touch with what's happening around me so that there is no competition from my fellow people who are working with me just through Twitter. The first question that I ask any candidate who comes for the interview is, are you on Twitter, and what are the kind of accounts are you following on, and what is the kind of updates or where you get yourself upskilled? Is the right? I don't worry about a skill. I don't worry about anything. I just ask him, how does he keep track of his skill? How does he upskill himself? So this one source, which I'd be happy to share it with the CMA can share it with you, whoever is interested. This has about 1,000 odd tools that can be used to your benefit from different industries, from website to art to anything for that matter. It has about a list of 1,000 odd AI technologies, AI tools that you can use it. And in fact, I saw a very interesting tool which is on Excel. The report, which is I was talking about the data visualization, right? You don't need to go to big data anymore. There's one particular tool here which does that work very neatly and very crisp for you. So with this, I kind of end my slides before I start to show you the live demo. But I would like to take a pause here. It's been like quite very quiet. So I would like to take a moment of pause here to understand whether it has gone over you or it is all we're all in the same place.
Hi, Sandil. Can I talk to you now?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. I can tell you, yours is one of the best Monday Musing talk I ever had. Believe me, nobody could have done it better than you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
There are 3 or 4 questions I want to ask you because you wanted us to talk. I thought I will talk at the end, but because you said we should do it now, I'm trying to do this now. Okay.
Sure.
The first is about AI. What AI is trying to do, maybe with code optimization, co-pilot, and all that. It's definitely trying to improve our efficiency and productivity, no doubt. I'm a strong propounder of using technology, and AI is best suited for that. Okay. Have you heard about low code, no code software technology, and are you using low code, no code software technology at your work?
Yes.
And how useful it is?
Yeah, low code. See, the new mantra is low code, no code, zero code. So that's the new mantra. So we do use we have not built any apps on that side, but what we have done is we have partnered with a certain companies which build apps, mobile apps with a low code platform. So it's basically
what platform? What platform?
Sterlo. It's called as Sterlo.io.
Yeah.
So we have worked with that team. They're based out of Erode. Very promising people. And we just worked few projects. Apart from that, even the e-commerce side. Okay, the e-commerce side, I'm very proud to say that Blue Code has partnered with Zoho. So we are the prime implementation partners for Zoho in southern India. And we have taken their e-commerce, and that is also, I would say, 75% no code, because it's just a drag and drop feature that we set. Only the code comes in where we need customizations from the client side, which is very rare because most of your aspects are covered in the initial version itself. But to answer your question again, sir, the in schools today, I don't know how many of you have seen your children's textbooks. They're studying with their computer science. If they're in the say about 7th, 8th, 9th grade, or even up till 12th grade, many things are being forced as low code and no code. I have two opinions on that. In fact, since I'm coming from the 90s, so I always feel that no code, low code, yes, it is a fantastic aspect which helps us to build platforms faster. But as for learning aspect, we definitely need to learn the code. Without that, there is no logic. And without logic, whatever no code or low code platform comes, we will not be successful. So the basis, the foundation needs to be proper coding. You've got to learn coding. Today in Blue Code, we have a program called as Blue Code Academy. We have just recently started. And we train our own internal resources on Python, Django, and MERN-Stack. And we ensure that we upskill them or cross-skill them with proper coding. And similarly, we are taking this approach to the colleges as well. We have approached a few colleges in Coimbatore, where we said we will take your students not in big batches, just 10 to 15 per batch. And we will teach them how every single programming language is practically applied in a real world situation, because we're a software company, we are not a training institute. So that's the way we are moving, sir.
Maybe for your information, I'm a Zoho creator partner.
Fantastic, sir.
And so I have created about 20 applications in healthcare and for some SMEs, 20 applications which they are being used for the past 1 year. And I'm also in the process of developing about 1,000 citizen programmers in various colleges, engineering colleges, and hospital management colleges.
Fantastic.
You won't believe that is a target I have set. The citizen programmers are those who use low code and no code for developing small IT applications. But I have also realized, like what you said, that if you want to build enterprise applications, I think you should still depend on or use Python, Java, Node.js, and things like that. But if they are going to be fringe applications, if they are going to be customer facing applications, I think you should use one of these tools like maybe Power Automate or maybe SAP, no code, no code, Zoho, like you said. What is the
Yeah.
company you said? Silo.
Sterlo.
Sterlo. Like Sterlo, you should use them and use APIs and integrate it with the main software.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but one is, before I close, I just wanted to, because you told about Copilot and AI, I can tell you just about 4 days ago, I had a great experience on how to use Chat GPT. Okay, so night 11 o'clock, believe me, that is on Saturday night 11 o'clock, I had a inquiry for what I am doing, and that was forwarded by my daughter to my to me through a WhatsApp because it was found on a social media post, and they were asking that they wanted to develop some Zoho Creator applications for their small heat treatment shop. One girl had asked. You won't believe. I said, okay, I will reply for that inquiry tomorrow, and I was about to go to my bed, but suddenly the thought came to me. Anyway, this is what I wanted to reply. But let me see what ChatGPT says. You won't believe I put 4 sentences. It gave me a complete email which was answering every point which that girl wanted for that scope requirement. Then I sent a mail. Then itself at 11:15 I responded. Next day she again came back. She had a talk on phone for about 15-20 minutes. And today I got the scope down. Believe me, this happened on Friday night. Now the deal is almost closed. And if I had to draft all that emails and waiting for tomorrow and all that, nothing works. And it was a fantastic experience. And last question I want to ask you is, out of all these AI tools, Bard AI, ChatGPT, Bing, which is the best tool? That's it.
That's a good question, actually speaking. In fact, to be honest with me, sir, it all depends on the user perspective. In our office, in my setup, I use ChatGPT. There are a few people who use Bard. And Bing.
I recommend you to use Bard AI because it can also copy it into your Google Docs.
Absolutely. So Bard is obviously, Google has built every single product which can integrate and talk to each other. So that's correct. The biggest positive when it comes to Google. Microsoft comes up with Teams. So obviously the Microsoft One program obviously does the same thing. Yeah, ChatGPT is all alone by itself.
Yeah.
But Bing? Yes, sir. Sorry, you were saying something.
Well, Bing.
Bing, I haven't used that much. For whatever I've used so far, I probably will not have the reviews so far. I may want to use this more before commenting on it.
So can we look at any other questions from others? Anybody on the forum with you? I know two veterans in IT industry are talking to each other. I can understand and appreciate. Any other people on the forum would like to ask anything to Mr. Sendil? You can please open up your speakers and then ask. Before the others decide to ask, I have one question, Mr. Sendil. Of course, this is purely academic in nature. See, there is a mad rush towards these artificial intelligence courses and the software engineering courses. I'm really surprised because all of us know that these are all driven industries. So unless the driver industries progress and survive, will the driven industries have a future for itself?
Sir, definitely it will have future, but just that what we need to be very, very clear with the technology is, Ananta Padman sir will also agree with me, is today what we use will not be in existence in the next 2 to 3 months. We would have moved much forward, or it would not be existent. So when I say about people are moving a mad rush towards AI, it is purely what they're trying to do is like what I would give to other service provider to get my job done. Probably in this case, I will do it myself. That is the kind of task that is set in. When it comes to the software engineering, today, when I speak to anyone, any of the graduates, any of the people out here in Coimbatore or Chennai or anywhere, they are all plugged into data science. So they feel that is the future. They feel that the data has always played an important role. So the courses which demand is there in the current industry setup, and also when it has some bit of future in the foreseeable years, is the only one which will be surviving. So to your question, both the driven as well as the drivers will be successful as long as it is not thrown out of the market.
So given the rate of population growth, which is kind of stagnant world over, in fact, many growth, so obviously some of the areas probably this AI will come into handy. But then there is no growth in consumers. How do you think the supporting industries will grow?
See, it's about the kind of influencing on the behavior. So I gave an example of the e-commerce side, sir. So today, if a person wants to make a choice, they need a lot of recommendations. They need a lot of things that says, probably for your taste, this is nice. Probably for your purchasing, whatever you have done so far with your purchases, this product would suit you the better. So it gets into a more of a consultative space, isn't it? So either the consumer may not grow, but the consumer's experience would be highly critical. And that is where the complete AI ecology is set now.
Sir, unfortunately, don't mistake me. This is after a thorough research I'm putting forth this question. Not even 15% of Indian population is kind of used to the segment what you're talking about, including the ones who use the Palamudir Nilayam.
Absolutely.
The remaining 85%, how is it going to help? Because they are the ones who make up the society for.
So today, sir, today in terms of e-commerce, let me talk in the e-commerce terms itself, because that's closer to me. Today, many people still prefer to go to the shops and pick up their fruits and vegetables, right? Nobody likes to order because they have multiple doubts in terms of whether the stock is fresh or whether we get the right quantity or anything of unfair. But shockingly, most of our e-commerce development has happened in India. And this is another after a paper that was published by Zoho, especially, I think most of you would have used the e-commerce side. It is multiplied even after COVID. So people have moved from offline to online. So that shift has already happened. But now when there is a stagnancy there, when people are at online, now they require more, I would say, personalization. So, and that's where AI will contribute. As I speak today, it may not be the case with the numbers, which may not tell you the right situation, but I am very confident in the next 3 years, you will see a boom, especially in this space.
So this is again for the, this is my last statement, I would say, if not a question, for the benefit of the crowd as such. So I've always looked at shopping in three, eras. We were compulsive shoppers, then we became convenient shoppers. Now we are also slowly moving towards pleasure shopping. That's why you see many malls coming up. I mean, there is again a question mark world over. There is a survey again saying that malls have never made money. There is another discussion for another point of time. But having said that, yes, today we use the professionals use shopping for relaxation more than buying by itself. So even within that 50%, it could be useful for repetitive purchase or probably convenient shopping where you don't want to take your car or bike, travel and then buy. So these are the places where probably, yes, FMCG is seeing a lot of change. FMCG is moving very well in the e-commerce sites. But whereas we come to the consumer durable segment, even for clothes purchasing, today, as you rightly said, people want to experience what they are buying.
In fact, let me just pause here, sir. In fact, Nitin, sir, I have a client many of you would have used Lenskart, right?
Yes, Lenskart, yes.
So Lenskart has this great feature, which is augmented reality, AR, where you're able to place the desired spec on your photograph and see how you look and then shop. So that's the shift I'm talking about. Simple ways. Earlier, we used to visit a particular the glass store. We used to go there, try it out, and we see what is nice for us, and then we buy there. But Lenskart with their AR has revolutionized this whole stuff. the whole ecosystem around this. Similarly, I have one more client who are working in the jewelry space. They want a very similar application where they would like to showcase how a particular jewelry looks on a person who's there, who's using it, and then promote the purchase. So we are getting there, sir, but definitely slowly.
Yeah. Vidya, any other questions on the platform or?
Our past president, Dr. OAB sir, is also here and he's raised his hand. Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening. It's all your domain. Na? We are humble farmers trying to understand what first AI stands for.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nitin. Thank you, Senthil, for a nice presentation. I was enjoying the questions, whatever we are raised by Dr. Nitin and as well as Mr. Anantha, and your answers are very valid. My only small clarification or question is the good or badness of AI is depending upon the right data. So when we are implementing something in a company, if the company is having not required data, if it's not available, how the success of the AI can be achieved? Do you have anything to say on this? Because AI uses huge amount of data. If that is not perfect, or if there is a bad data, how to improve and how we will achieve the benefits of AI in that scenario? That's the only small question I'm having.
So more or less, thank you, sir. Thank you. More or less, it comes into the areas of predictive analysis and what we are talking here, especially when it comes to data. Over the years, what I've strongly believed is what you feed is what you get out, whether it's AI or whether it's manual processing. And that particular data integrity is something which is still valid, even though we have AI in place. But there is one aspect that has been built. So let's take this case of a CRM application. Right? Everybody is aware of what is a CRM application. So there I collect the phone numbers of people who have shopped with me. I run a shop and I collect all their phone numbers. Today, I want to send a promotional offer or something that will to keep them informed about what is happening in my store. The AI here is able to identify whether the numbers are valid or invalid. Earlier, what we used to do is we used to send an SMS. We have this bulk SMS softwares, right? So we send them, and whatever turned out, it kinds of bounces, says that these numbers are not valid. But today, there are widgets, there are plugins that are available, which has been built on data modeling and NLP models, which is able to tell you whether the number is valid or not. So, but still, I would suggest whatever that we feed as a data, integrity rests with the user and the organization. Every system, every software, every programming language has its own limitations. We cannot expect the system to do everything at every time, every possible time. But the feeder is something which is very critical, which is still rests with the organization. So that's why I keep saying this again, what we feed is what we get.
Okay. Thank you, Senthil. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions? So is there any other questions that I would like to ask or share?
Vidya?
Yes, no?
There are no takers. Probably we can sum up. Somebody can put. Or you,
Sure.
Mr. Senthil, having heard the questions from our side, for the benefit of the participants, is there anything you would like to leave as a takeaway or pass on messaging concerning artificial intelligence and as a socio-economic either beneficiary or impact tool?
Sure, sir. So definitely, see, AI See, every stages of technology development over the past few decades, it has revolutionized every single people, the way they work, the organizations, the way they function. So my thing is that every decade we will see good processes coming through, good technological advancements coming through in a form of AI. Today we are talking about AI. Probably 10 years down the line, we might be talking about something else. But what is more important is how we are able to use and leverage their capabilities to improve the work that we do, not to replace our work. Today, I gave you the example of content writer. It's not to replace a content writer. It is not to replace a web developer, but how do we enhance our capabilities using the systems to deliver better results? And this will be the mantra for whatever amount of technologies that comes right down the line as well. So as long as we stick to this, we are good.
It's amazing to know that anything that is of benefit to human race will definitely survive. Today, we are in a situation where we have to talk for all the living beings, including plants and animals, bringing an ecological balance. I'm sure artificial intelligence will add value to these efforts.
Absolutely.
Vidya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. If there are no other questions from the participants, then we can wind up the
Hello,
session.
I have one question to Sendil.
Sure, sir.
Sendil, we shop in Palamudir and all that. It is very good experience. But only thing is when we come to the billing counter, we are made to stand. So
Right.
is there any way that we could, do you have a website where we could go and order, and if there are some proprietary items like, toothpaste and things like that, prices are always there. So you can in some way tick off all those items and only some vegetables and fruits you have to weigh and bill. Is there any way you can improve our experience in billing? Because you find all these girls, they're very active, very nice, but still they have their own limitations, and sometimes waiting becomes a little bit of a not that good experience. Have you tried to do something about it?
We have actually tried to look at fast counters as how other supermarkets does. In terms of like say, I'm sorry, I'm getting a yeah. So like what I said was like we are looking at certain fast counters or single item products. Like for example, if somebody walks in just to get a Colgate paste, he or she shouldn't be waiting in the line or 10th or 20th in the line. They should be able to go and get that done and go. That is what we are trying to do. Apart from that, that is at a shop level. And also from a technology standpoint, we have built the systems in that way that the billing happens faster for whatsoever reason. But there are challenges. There are a few challenges that is bound to happen, especially when you're dealing with FMCG products with barcode or anything of that kind. So what we are trying to constantly do is definitely increase the number of single product counters or express counters, you may call it, and also trying to get the app in place. The online marketplace in a place, we already had one. We had to do a little revision, and that should help you ease the pressure that you're facing at the billing counter, sir. Hopefully the app will be released in a couple of months. Then you should be able to get certain things delivered at your doorstep, which you don't.
Do you think that ONDC will affect your work? The ONDC platform brought by the government.
No, sir, it is only going to be an enabler for us. We are looking at that way.
Anantana, I don't know, probably you might have heard also, the KPR, they have this unit called Quantum Nets. Correct. 5,000 square meters of stores today is fully automated, managed by only 2 individuals.
Oh my God.
Right from the color of the cloth, meter of the cloth is monitored, and as in they load, as in they draw, the information is directly captured in the system. There is no stores management at all, apart from the system analyst.
Amazing.
Completely automated, especially the inventory stores. The rest of the process, they are unable to automate. It's just manual, but at least stores, they have automated to a large extent.
just to add to that point, sir, because there are few aspects that we can definitely look at that. For example, if you go to the US, you go to this quick shopping kiosks in the airports. You don't need a billing person, right? So you just take a product, you just walk out, the barcodes get scanned and your credit card is debited with it. But the problem that we have is the quick servicing stores model. Will it work in India? It will work in some time, but currently our consumer needs, or probably the way they look at things, it may take a little bit time for us to get accustomed to that model.
Because I am in Bangalore and I go to this Rameswaram food joint. There is self-service and also billing. You won't believe, self-service billing is the most active and very useful, and it is very, very nice experience there. Can you not do some self-billing service in your Palamudir?
Definitely, sir. I'll take the message to the chairman.
Yes, you should do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Vidya?
Yes, ma'am.
You can, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sendal. That was a wonderful presentation and a very comprehensive one on AI tools and how to integrate it seamlessly into our daily life. And you very lucidly explained this new concept that has been the rage for the past couple of years. And it was and you're combined with your clear and unhurried way of presentation. It made it very easy for even laymen like me to understand whatever you were talking about. So thank you for the wonderful presentation and the interactive sessions with our past presidents, Mr. Anantu sir and OAB sir and Dr. Nitin was made it an even more interesting session. I am only sad that there were not enough people to enjoy the benefit of this beautiful session. That is a big thing for us. But we would love to have you another day and share your knowledge with all of us.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants who were there with us and all your knowledge that you shared today. Thank you so much.
Probably
thank you, Vidya. Thank you, Sendil.
Probably it's a quality crowd rather than the quantity crowd. And thanks.
Yes.
It was wonderful presentation. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Have a lovely week.
Bye.